Cambridge Analytica pleads guilty in UK. Data trial.
Here's a summary of the article.
London Cambridge Analytica has been found guilty of breaking data laws after refusing to disclose how much information it holds on an American professor, where it got the data, and perhaps most importantly how it used it and who it gave it to. The British analytics firm, which was hired by the Trump campaign, has been accused of misusing the Facebook data of almost 100 million Americans while working to elect President Trump. SCL Elections, a parent company of Cambridge Analytica, confirmed it did have data on Carroll, including detailed metrics on his political views, specifically how he was likely to vote and which hot-button issues like gun rights or immigration would motivate him. The existence of this predictive table suggested Cambridge Analytica must have gathered a large volume of data on the media professor, prompting Carroll to ask where it had come from and with whom it had been shared. Facebook later admitted that Cambridge Analytica had access to personal data on up to 87 million people, mostly in the US. The company collapsed in 2018 after undercover reporters caught its executives bragging about electoral dirty tricks operations, including the secret use of proxy organizations and super PACs to buy ads targeted at individuals in the US that could not be traced back to the Trump campaign. The judge ruled the company had shown a willful disregard for the enforcement of data laws, but sentenced the company to pay less than $20,000 even with the addition of some of the costs. The penalty was around $26,000. The court was told Wednesday that Cambridge Analytica and its related companies had not provided the relevant passwords to the echo to access that data, but the administrators had now done so.
This post received a score of 49,226, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Whoops, we're guilty, but we're also bankrupt, so we can't pay the fine you're going to levy. Okay, thanks, CR.
Criminal Finances Act, mate. If the directors aren't locked up or held personally responsible with this draconian legislation, then there's likely corruption and you should write to your MP. If they get off scot-free, it will be a miscarriage of justice. IMO.
They will get off scot-free, just like most every other big corporation. They aren't even big, but they're well connected.
We're fools if we think that Brexit and Trump are the only two things Cambridge Analytica were involved in. The odds are that the government is covering their own ass by keeping all of this out of the papers and resolving it as quickly and impotently as possible, just like Grenfell Tower.
We already know that Cambridge Analytica was involved in much more than just Trump and Brexit. Don't forget they aren't gone, they have just rebranded. Robert Mercer ain't going anywhere and he has long-term goals for the billionaires of the world.
Renamed Emerdata, for the curious.
Greater than Emerdata. And #X200B. A chart how Emerdata, Robert Mercer and Rebecca Mercer, buy political power from you. Opening square bracket.
Literally anything but Pinterest. Please.
Single-handedly ruined internet searching.
Considering this happened before GDPR was a thing, I am not surprised that the fines are as low as they are. That said, this is some serious bullshit.
I doubt even the pathetic $20,000 will be paid due to the fact they filed BK last year, then started an identical company doing the same thing. With GDPR, the fines would have probably put them out of business had they not already done so earlier.
They filed for Burger King? Bankruptcy. Which is to say they sold their assets for a joke amount and all their employees started to work at the new company who bought the assets and is doing the exact same shit.
So it's like trying to hold the shed skin of a snake accountable for the snake's crimes. Damn.
Essentially this. Supposedly this is pretty standard stuff for corporations of questionable ethics, legality. In some cases simple rename is enough, see Blackwater with their 3 to 4 name changes in last decade or two.
See Comcast and Equifax for examples of rebranding to avoid being associated with their shitty old company identities. Better article and details here. The information was about a Professor David Carroll, a U.S. citizen, and they couldn't comply because the servers which have that data was seized by the ICO. The reason they were fined though is because they didn't make enough effort to legally comply with Professor Carroll's notice. Instead, the company argued that Professor Carroll had no right to access because he wasn't a UK citizen.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.